What is going on, pound for pound family? It's another week, another video, another solo. This your boy Big Mike Dub. Hey man, first of all, before I even get into the signings, free agents, any of that type of stuff, I just want to thank all of y'all who took the time out. Wish your boy happy birthday on the show, Facebook, Twitter. Y'all are the greatest. And by the greatest, I mean anybody who supports pound for pound ATL. Again, and when you say anybody, what does that mean? Why are you here? More than likely, if you're here, you support the Falcons. If you support another team, but you want to know about the Falcons, we also are here for that, because all we're going to do is talk about our team, communicate what's going on with our team, and really worry about our team. Anyway, business out of the way. If you blink 2 times, you missed 2 free agent signings this week. 2 free agent signings that really kind of bring me back to this narrative. This on paper looks like a team that is ready to potentially try to reload and not rebuild. So, let's talk about these signings a little bit. Let's break them down a little bit high level. Duron Harmon. I think that, for starters, let's talk about this guy for a little bit. Came from the Lions. I think he's a solid signing. 30 years old. Has played for the Patriots as well. 72 tackles. Has a nickname, The Closer. I like a guy with a good nickname. I'm not here to hype a guy up off of his nickname, but I like a guy who is known for the ability to make interceptions late in games. And not only make those interceptions late in games, these are critical interceptions that turn the favor back to the team. And we haven't really had a lot of late game heroics outside of the Deion Jones every now and then. In his, magician work, we've not really had a lot of guys to make plays, especially in the secondary. But I think that having a NFL veteran, again, this is a defense in desperate need of good veterans. And what I'm actually starting to notice from a trend standpoint is that if you look at this team, this is a team that actually should be pretty decent from the veteran side. From the veteran perspective on the defensive side of the ball. I think, Fabian Moreau has played a lot of football. Jonathan Buller has played a lot of football. Bart Mingo has played a lot of football. Eric Harris has played a lot of football. And all of those guys bring something different to the table. And I think what I like the most about a Duron Harmon is he will be able to come in, I think, and occupy one of those starting safety spots. Not really as sure on Eric Harris yet. I think he was a bit of a wild card when we signed him. Like, okay, we're hiring, we're signing on some safety depth, but I think we all know that Eric Harris is not a long-term solution. I would say even Duron Harmon is not a long-term solution. But for a team looking to get the most out of what it has right now, I think that this is a great step in the first direction. Completely on board with this signing, because I think that what we hoped either in the draft or through free agency is that we find at least 2 starting level corners. Safeties. I think at a fundamental level, we found one of our starting safeties. I do think Eric Harris and possibly maybe knock on wood, a Richie Grant, Trevon Moehrig, Richie LeCount, Paris Ford, all of the safeties that we've mocked up to this point. I think what we have created is, if we draft a safety, I think we have a safety that would possibly be a decent complementary piece. And we still don't know what value ultimately at this point that we've gotten out of a Jalen Hawkins, or what he is ultimately able to provide and grow into. Because what would be ideal is Jalen Hawkins takes this step forward, and hey, if we go with Duron Harmon and Jalen Hawkins and our safety is already on the roster, even better. So, he's one of the 2. The other of the two is a guy that, if you follow the NFL, you've heard this guy's name. If you're an SEC guy like myself, you saw him at Tennessee. And that's Cordarrelle Patterson. We got him from the Bears. I think that Cordarrelle Patterson is actually not only a really good signing, I think that he provides an additional element that we need on our team, I would say, outside of a Calvin Ridley. And that's just kind of the explosive change the field guy. I would say Gage at this point in his career is still a bit of a possession guy. He's more of he can get you the yards, he can move the chain. But I think in terms of having a guy who can change field position, it will help us at some point in this season. Cordarrelle Patterson will fundamentally at some point make an impact for the Falcons. You can book it. They are not going to spend this type of money on him with this tight of a cap situation if they did not expect for him to come in and make a difference. What I thought was news and breaking news for me was the release of Ito Smith. To me, that was absolutely mind-blowing, because I did think that Ito Smith might have had a chance in this Arthur Smith offense, as far as, maybe being a screen guy, maybe being a guy who can pass receive a bit more. But I think that the Cordarrelle Patterson connection is kind of what got him out of it. And I think that also kind of X's off one of the guys that I discussed on my best players available list, and that is Jalen Waddle. I'm not necessarily sure that we would need to duplicate a Waddle type gadgety player. I think that we've gotten that in Cordarrelle Patterson. Do I think that there's more upside with Jalen Waddle and we could have addressed that in the draft? Absolutely. But it does make me harp on this fundamental question. And again, this is one of those where in the comments, let's speak about it, because I know we have so many different opinions. You guys have seen the best player available videos that we did with Kyle Pitts and, like I said, Waddle and all these other guys, Jamar Chase. But the signing of Cordarrelle Patterson makes me really ask a question. It's like, okay, so, we take a deep breath. We look at Mike Davis. We look at Cordarrelle Patterson and we say, well, hey, what if we're able to provide another offensive lineman in there, like a guy that we really believe in a Penei Sewell? And does that give us a chance to still be competitive? Hear me out. What I mean is that let's say we are one lineman away. We do give Matt Ryan this time. And we can fundamentally look around and say, wow, well, man, we could use Cordarrelle Patterson in ways that we didn't have that element before. Julio is still Julio. Ridley is still Ridley. Gage is still Gage. Hurst, I still is hearing all of this Kyle Pitts talk, and I'm sure he is hungry in this offseason to prove that, he's not only worth targets, that, he's still a player that is ready to have a career breakout year as well. So not really ready to throw Hurst off to the Wolves just yet. Another thing I would say, though, is if we got a Penei Sewell, and let's say, because we always talk about how porous the running game is, if we're able to create more holes and control more on the running game, I do think with some of the depth pieces that we've added, I think with the draft, I would be as honest to say now is probably the time to sit back and look and see after the draft what type of team we really are going to put on the field from a competitive standpoint. Because if I'm honest, this is a team as of right now that I would say at certain positions may have actually upgraded in free agency, which is not what was expected. I think most of us as Falcons fans took a position of, we'll take what we can get. We know we don't have a lot of cap. But again, that Terry F baby, and the F stands for fiscal, Terry Fiscal baby is showing us that not only is he making this thing exciting, he's got an eye on who he wants, who he likes, which is why, again, you can definitely tell some of the nuances, because I'm looking at some of the players we signed today, Duron Harmon's, Cordarrelle Patterson's, I'll go back to the Bullards, a lot of those guys, tough football players that I think are not really Thomas Dimitroff guys, not to take a step back, not really Dan Quinn guys. So what we are seeing is more veteran, possibly just more knowledgeable players to kind of put the arms around the youth that we've got. We got a lot of youth. So it will be interesting to see in the secondary, if we can get another corner, another veteran corner. I think the only thing that still has me right now is just like an eyesore is we still have AJ Terrell as a second-year player as our top dog in the secondary. So ideally, I would like to see another veteran that could pair with him. And to be honest with you, I do hear the New England trade scenarios where Gilmore is out there, and it's like, at this point, to trade back, if y'all give us Gilmore, that's fundamentally all that we're looking for. Because if you give us the 15th pick, even if we trade back, I still think fundamentally right now we're in a position where whether we trade back, whether we stay at 4, I think that one, we're going to find a pretty good player. That player will make our team better, whether it be quarterback, whether it be, offensive lineman, whether it be Kyle Pitts, who we, like I said, kind of just have fan love for. Whoever that person is will make this organization, I think, a better organization, because, hey, we do need a backup quarterback. Like, what position he's drafted at is really a moot point, because ultimately, man, football is X's and O's. It is not about where you went to school at, what your helmet said in college. It is once you have a Falcons helmet on, a Falcons jersey, Falcons shoulder pads, and Nike shoes, or whoever you are sponsored with, you are ready to play, ready to roll, and ready to compete at a high level. And if you are, we cannot wait to tell you to rise up. That's all I got for you this week. It's your boy Mike Dub. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. Pound for Pound family. Find me on Twitter, MIKE_DUB. Always love. Gone.